All right, hi everybody. Welcome to Silver Screen Time Machine, the podcast that now has a name. On this podcast, we watch a movie from a different decade every episode, and then tell you what we think about it, and have a couple laughs along the way. I'm Ben.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Jake.
All right, and today we watched A Dog's Life. It is not a film about 7 different breeds of dogs being recruited to protect another village of dogs. In a shout out to Seven Samurai. It is a Charlie Chaplin silent comedy movie. And I've got the notes. Do you guys mind if I give the synopsis?
Yeah, I did not make
no,
notes
that's fine.
this time,
Yeah. I made some notes, but not a synopsis.
as I literally
Okay.
finished watching this film 5 minutes ago. So,
Oh, before we start though, I wanted to mention that we have art now for the show. And I wanted to get your all's opinions of the depictions of yourselves.
I'm very happy that I'm Vin Diesel from the best Fast and Furious film. Though unfortunately my hair does no longer match the picture
Oh, no.
because I now have short hair-ish.
Oh, that sounds like a joy. Jim, how about you? Do you like being a Jedi?
It's pretty cool to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, though I did think it was a priest at first.
Yes, you did.
Because the Vin Diesel Jake has a cross on his chest.
So
I
me
I thought it was a sort of strange religious theme.
and I in a suit looked like a revivalist preacher. So I am JB from Rear Window. Jim is Obi-Wan from A New Hope, and Jake is Vin Diesel. And not really, he wasn't meant to be from Tokyo Drift, but I'm fine with that being what we go forward with. And also, it was drawn by my girlfriend, and that is why I look disproportionately detailed in the art. All right, so it's Charlie Chaplin in A Dog's Life. So we start and we see the tramp, and he's lying outside sleeping. He seems cold. He does a weird thing that I didn't really understand, where like there's a hole in the cement behind him, and he stuffs it up.
I assumed there was like wind coming through the pipe or something.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what it was, but I feel like if we were alive in 1918, we would have looked at it and been like, fuck yeah, I know what that's like.
I thought he was just plugging up the glory hole so he didn't get like bummed in his sleep.
He does then put his bum very close.
He
to the hole.
does.
Then we're introduced to a very cute dog.
Yeah.
Yes,
Scraps,
we
a
meet
thoroughbred
Scraps.
mongrel. Yeah.
A thoroughbred Mongol, which I wanted to say makes no
Yeah,
sense.
that's
That may be the
Like-
joke.
Well, yes, but I also think though that if it's 1918, you can have very few interests. So I feel like a lot of people were in the theater and they were like, I know horses. Fuck you. Thoroughbred means the opposite of mongrel.
And then their
but
friend would be like, I think that's the point. And they'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, good. Scraps, though, is adorable. Like,
Yeah.
it is one of the cutest dogs, and the fact that it's in early cinema is great. So then there's like a little bit that's like a Charlie Chaplin-sized opening in the bottom of the fence, and an old man comes by and he has a steamed bucket and he's selling sausages out of it.
Yeah, I was so confused by what it was at first. I thought it was like hot paint or something, or
I thought he took a
Yeah,
bone
I
out
had
of
pull
it.
no
sausages
clue.
out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and what indicates it is the tramp starts stealing sausages, and when this happens, a cop walks by, and Charlie Chaplin is in a weird little area that's just fenced off dirt. But luckily, the mayor of New York in the 1910s, who I did not look up, made it regulation that all fences had to have an opening at the height of a cop's head, so that he could see through it and see what was going on the other side. And that's exactly what happened. A cop just comes through and looks at the tramp, and the tramp puts it back. And then the cop comes around, and they do, like, head nods to each other, where the cop's like, you come out here, and the tramp's like, you come in here. So then it's a genuinely funny scene, but I feel like this is the issue with doing older movies, is I think we want to do genuinely good ones, and with the comedy ones, us describing jokes isn't going to be that funny. So I just want to say there's some good business where the cop keeps coming in through the door and Chaplin keeps rolling through the fence.
He also
they
kicks him in the bum, which I'm glad is a sort of immortally funny thing to do.
Yes, he does. And then a second cop comes, and he is also going to chase the tramp. And all I can think is like, this is the 1910s. You have to deal with organized crime in New York, and you're here dealing with a presumably homeless man trying to eat. It's crazy.
He did steal someone's sausage, though.
He did steal
He is a thief.
Sausage.
Yeah.
Though the cop doesn't know that, given he's just stared over the fence and seen a tramp with a sausage.
Well, he sees him, but then Charlie Chaplin, like, while the cop's watching him, puts it back, so he proves he's stolen it.
That's like the 1918 version of when you see like someone at a CCTV on at an ATM steal someone's wallet and then put it back.
After they notice they're on camera.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the second cop. Chaplin sprints away, and we see Scraps, and Scraps is the best dog in the world. I don't think he's actually doing anything.
Playing.
Yeah, he's just playing.
Also, isn't Scraps
the
a
tramp?
she?
Huh? Oh yeah,
the
you're
ending.
right. Sorry.
Sorry
Yeah,
to
that's
spoil the
revealed.
ending, but
Yeah, it's not like the plot is like, what's the gender of this dog?
yeah, the twist at the end is Charlie Chaplin just lifts up the dog and shows the camera the dog's badge.
Ooh.
All right, Jake, you're being very
There's
raunchy.
been swearing, there's been the word cuck in this episode. I'm going to need to do a content warning this time.
Yeah. Jake's the bad boy of Silver Scream Time
I am
Machine.
Vin
now.
Diesel.
That's true. Then you should make your voice incomprehensible.
Jim's got all of Reddit rooting for him for a new film.
And that's also why Jim is our alt-right member.
Oh no, I don't want to be an alt-right Jedi.
Alt-right Jedi is the name of the Kylo Ren solo film. Oh, all right. So the tramp goes to the unemployment office, and a husky fellow walks in, and all the unemployed gentlemen sit on a bench, and the chubby guy sits down, and all of them fall off the bench. And what was weird about it is watching it, I felt like it was less mean-spirited than some jokes about weight in like modern movies. Like, we've moved ahead in a lot of things, but this was not one of them. But then there's a great bit where the tramp is the first person in line, but every time a new window opens with a job, someone else gets there first.
Yeah. Felt very sorry for him in this bit. He just wants a job.
He wants a job so he can buy those sausages.
It's quite a sort of poignant bit of the story, really, that there's so many men so desperate for a job that they're just pushing past each other. Or maybe they're all obsessed. They see it's a job at a brewery, don't they? And they're like, oh, I gotta have that job. Suggesting they all just want the job so they can drink loads of beer.
Yeah, I mean, Ben was just saying that, about the fat jokes. We are referring to this man constantly as the tramp.
Yeah, but that's the character's name.
Yeah, but I'd just like to make a point of that is that he's not given a name, he's just a tramp.
I don't think anybody's given a name except Scraps. That's
Yeah,
all that
well,
matters.
when you think of it.
Is the woman given? Yeah, is the woman who sings given a name? I'm not sure if
Nope,
she is.
singer according to Wikipedia. Because I checked thinking, like, her name's probably, like, Gladys. And I didn't want to refer to her as the singer the whole time, but that's what they called her. Yeah, Scraps is the only person given a name, which is pretty progressive if you think about it. So there's no jobs left, and then we see Scraps, and she's... Huh?
So the furry fans in the audience are loving the representation of the dog getting a name.
So Scraps plays with a can, and I was genuinely worried that she'd get her head stuck.
Oh.
In the way that dogs do, and then that would be how Chaplin, the tramp, saved her. The police just, like, kind of unjustly hate the tramp. Like, they keep seeing him and being like, you...
Well, they're the same to the dog. They see Scraps sort of pokes her head round the corner, and the cop sort of gives her the evil eye, and then she backs away, and then looks at again, and the cop's still there.
Well, they saw Scraps stealing sausages earlier. I thought when Scraps was leaving, I thought, oh, she's also going to the unemployment office to look for a job. Scraps finds, I think it's food in the middle of the street, and she's attacked.
Yeah, loads of other dogs come in, and you can also see, some more food gets chucked in to try and draw her away.
And
then...
the tramp saves her.
Yeah, jump cut to her in the mouths of two dogs being fought. Because I didn't quite get what was going on at first. I thought they were fighting over food. And then Charlie comes in and holds her and flings her around the air. Much like the Rabbit King in The Trip to the Moon we watched last week.
There's a lot of... Sorry.
It took me a while to realise that Scraps is a model at some of these points.
What was crazy about it was my first thought was like, oh, these are the dog cops. and the two of them are going to have to try and keep away from everyone.
This bit with the dogs is probably my favourite bit of the whole thing.
Same.
Yeah,
it's very funny watching them chase him up the table and then not know where he's gone.
Yeah, so it's just like a huge chase scene, and dogs keep getting like kind of distracted at different points. So he keeps losing like 2 dogs at a time, and then eventually he gets away. But then they keep showing shots of what the other dogs are doing, and there's a great shot of a cook fighting a dog with a sausage, which is the worst thing to fight a dog with. Like, could you imagine if you were fighting someone with like, I don't know, a sword that when it cut you just gave you vitamins, like
them with a roll of bandages.
Yeah. That was a better joke than mine. Good job, you saved that.
You also see one dog grab onto the seat of Charlie Chaplin's trousers for like a good 3 seconds as he spins around.
Yeah.
So they clearly had a good dog trainer for that one, and then you see him scamper off with part of his pants.
Yeah. Which is a plot point for later. It's Chekhov's ripped pants. There's a title card that says a tender spot in the tenderloin, which I think is maybe like the funniest of the title cards, because it's like, oh, that's an okay joke for a like just piece of writing in a movie that has good slapstick.
And I liked a later one, which I'll get to when we come to it.
Okay. There is a dance hall, and it's called the Green Lantern, and I will, from this point on, refer to it by a different Green Lantern's name. Yes, Jim?
My favourite bit before he gets to the dance hall, though, is where he sort of consoles the dog sat on the steps of a door of a house, and there's a nearly empty milk bottle. And to get the last bit out, he dips the dog's tail in the bottle, then gets the dog to lick it off her own tail, which I thought was very funny.
Yeah, it's also it is very sweet.
And then he smiles like genuinely, like you could see that Charlie Chaplin's actually enjoying himself, and that was very nice.
So we're at the Hal Jordan, and everybody's dancing. A woman wants to dance, so she forces an old man to dance with her. Like, old woman is very like mean to an old man. And so this is the version that we watched was not synced to its original music. So it was music that was put in, and what's crazy about it is the person who added this music used the most dramatic music for weird parts, because the next part is a chef is making sausages and the music's like bam ba bam ba bam ba da na 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 na.
And then the music cuts out annoyingly.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I did find another version with some music, but I don't know if it's the original or not. It's a bit better synced.
I'd like to also say the lunch wagon owner is played by Charlie Chaplin's half brother.
Yes, I thought that was cool because this guy is like the best comedic. He gives the other best comedic performance.
Oh yeah, because he's in there later in a shootout, which is a very good bit.
Yeah. Well, so it's another great bit of Chaplin stealing something. Like it's a very good comedy bit, so I don't want to focus on it too much. Comedy bit. It's the chef. He's in a lunch wagon, And there's a window in the back of the lunch wagon. I wonder what that could be for. But the chef is making bread. I guess he would be a baker. And he turns around and he sets it down, and then he's turning to do more work. And the tramp just keeps taking another piece. And then the chef turns around, and he's got a great big bushy fake mustache, and that really adds to the comedy.
Yeah.
But the two of them keep doing that.
He gives
And
the
then-
eyebrows to the dog, raises his eyebrows up and down at the dog. Don't you touch my... I assume they were like mince pies or something, but maybe it is just bread.
But before that, the dog also steals a sausage out the frying pan.
Yes, that is true.
So the dog
Um,
is a thief.
The tramp is inspired by the dog.
It was in the scenes
but-
like this that I thought Charlie Chaplin really reminded me of Mr. Bean. I'm thinking Rowan Atkinson must have really looked to Charlie Chaplin for his performance. The way that he does something bad and then tries to shrug it off by sort of looking the other way, holding his head, sort of trying to brush it off as if he was doing something else.
Listeners at home, you couldn't see it. Jim indicated what he meant on the Skype screen, and it was, I would say, the most wholesome moment of this recording, considering how many times Jake has said something vulgar.
Hey,
I'm sorry, Jake. Luckily, a cop comes in, and where's he going to see the tramp but through that window in the lunch wagon? That's right. The regulations passed also meant that there had to be a window in every lunch wagon. So he comes around and sees the tramp. So the tramp runs, and when he runs, the cook was thinking, oh, I'm going to catch this thief, because he hasn't caught him yet. So he just turns with a sausage, again, because that's what you use if you're a cook to hit people.
instead of the frying
He
pan.
turns... Yeah.
Well, maybe it would be a bit unfair to scold him, burn
Yeah.
the man's face.
Well, look, the only thing that'll stop a bad guy with a sausage is a good guy with a sausage, and the chef knows that. But he turns and he just hits the cop with the sausage. And then, everybody kind of just runs their separate ways. So we're back to the Jon Stewart, and a man forces a woman to dance, and he's like a big dude. And he does it by hitting another man.
Yeah, the other man protests. He punches him in the chest, and the man just knocks out, falls unconscious into another man's arms, who then robs
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, well,
It's a world full of crime, and yet the cops are going after Scraps and Charlie.
Yeah. Well, and so the man who steals from him is a dandy. So he looks very rich. He presumably has more money. And that's Chekhov's ripped pants again. So then guess who would come to the Alan Scott but Tramp and Scraps? And so they go in. No dogs are allowed, and there's a great big sign. And suspiciously it didn't say no Irish, which I know would have been the policy. But the tramp he stuffs Scraps into his pants.
I'm watching it
and-
again as we do it. It's one of the, puts him inside this huge clown trousers.
And because
Poor
of the hole that was pulled earlier, Tramp's tail is sticking out.
Yeah.
And so Chaplin walks in, and he looks like he's wearing... Did you guys have, like, a girl at your middle school who wore cat ears and a tail?
Yes.
Not a tail,
Well,
just...
Yeah. Just the cat ears? Ooh. We went to different middle schools, Jake.
We did, mostly because
'Cause-
you live in America and I live in England.
But, yeah, so he just looks like he's wearing kind of a fake tail. But it's clearly a dog's tail, because they would not have had good enough effects to make it wag.
I was assuming that maybe they had a little thing that went up to Charlie's hand, and then he could press it hidden away to make the tail wag.
I mean, I
It wags at the right
can't
time.
imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine that they would have that good of, like, tech, but I guess they could. I don't know, they had cameras, so they could probably figure
They
out.
probably had to figure out how to make a button that makes the tail wag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A woman... sorry.
I was just going to consider the mechanics of it. You could have a little thing that pushes air through a tube.
Yeah, so the dog, when Chaplin is, like, bending over to do something, he's in front of a big bass drum, and Scraps' tail plays the drum. And then we see a woman angrily dancing on stage.
Yeah, I think there's something about dancing in silent movies. It always looks really weird because it's sped up.
Yeah, and she's doing like a flailing one.
Yeah.
And then we see
then
a woman sing, and it's so
Yes.
beautiful that everyone cries. But they weep buckets.
Every single person. And it was another moment of not having music in the score that really would have benefited.
Well, even in the version with music, you can't hear her singing.
There's
Okay.
also
You
there's,
just hear sad violin rather.
there's also like the title card that says a new singer sings an old song, as if there's
Yeah.
someone being like, "Oh yeah, these fucking singers don't sing their own songs." Oh
I was born in the wrong generation.
yeah,
I shouldn't have been born in 1890. I should have been born in 1860. So then we see the bartender is crying, and he takes money out of his like vest and puts it in the cash register. So presumably he was stealing.
Yeah.
Like everybody's a thief. A woman pours her drink on scraps.
Yeah, it makes it look.
It's-
It's like a bottle with a sort of thing on the top, like a sort of seltzer bottle, like a clown would use. When I saw it at first, I thought that supposedly that was her own tears, and she was crying spurts of tears onto the dog, onto the poor dog.
I would not doubt it, because she was one of the most furious criers. So then the tramp steals a drink that the bartender was mixing, and the furious dancer returns, and everybody's going great. Then I think he's the owner, because he's in a real nice suit.
Yeah.
He goes over to the singer and says, "If you smile and wink, I'll buy you a drink." And it's good to know that creeps have existed for at least as long as film. Yeah, it was a moment where I was like, this could go horribly when I saw him walking towards her. And my impulse was correct. She's not feeling it. But then the tramp goes over, and she's feeling him immediately. Looking at him, she's just in a flash. She's super into it.
that's where my favorite
And she keeps-
title card is.
Oh, yeah.
Which
All right, so can I just say what she does and then you say the title
Yeah.
card? Okay, so she's like nodding and like rotating her shoulder and does like really exaggerated winks. And the tramp is confused, but then we get a title card in case anybody missed it.
in which it says, "I'm flirting."
And the tramp just like gives an adorable little Chaplin smile. And then they go and dance. And you wonder, like, was that the standard in the early 1900s? Did you have to say you were flirting because everyone was used to like chaste Victorian policies of like courtship where your parents just got together and said, "I think they'd be a good match"? That was my early 1900s accent, not my British accent. They dance. They go and dance. And then Scraps and Gum complicate the dance. Gum is not another dog. The tramp steps on Gum.
Yeah, so much gum. It gets everywhere. Well,
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was treacle or something, because it
Yeah.
it spreads all over. And then the dog wants to eat it.
I thought it was like chewing tobacco or something stuck on the floor.
Now, that would be if Charlie Chaplin ever made a movie about Atlanta in the early 1900s. So the tramp dances the singer over to a table, and then he gets kicked out because he can't afford to buy another drink. And he's about to throw a brick into
Oh yeah.
into the guy Gardner, and a cop comes and stops him. And so instead he makes it look like he was about to just, throw it to the side.
Yeah. No, he pretends he's going to play fetch with the dog, with the brick.
Yeah, that's what he does.
One other of my favourite sort of Mr. Bean-esque bits. And then he looks at the cop, he throws it, and the dog is initially, he looks at the cop, and he's like, "Oh, I guess he didn't want it. Guess that didn't work. I'll go. Goodbye, officer." So you can sort of imagine what they're saying at that point, which I think is quite good.
Yeah.
There are a few points
Um,
where people just have a full-on conversation, and it's very difficult to tell what they're actually saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there are parts where I think it works, and that's one of them, and then another one is a part near the end. And we are introduced to this sort of end because we see the dandy who robbed the knocked out man walking down the street. Well, we don't actually see him. First, we see two
It's a different
thieves.
guy, I think, because this guy has a top hat, whereas the other guy had a bowler hat. So it's
I
a
thought
different
that, I
dandy.
thought that the dandy. Okay, yeah. He's drunk as hell.
Yeah.
Like he's stumbling, and for the 1900s, like I'm sure that they were like, this means that he's plastered.
This man is an
and
alcoholic.
And the man who punched the guy in the heart earlier, he and a compatriot, they go and hide in an alley, and then when the dandy comes up to the alleyway, they just grab him and pull him in, and then walk out. And I believe they're already counting money when they walk out. They go back to Champlin's little fence home, and they bury the cash.
Like pirates.
And then
Yes.
Chaplin goes to use the dog as a pillow. And
Yes,
the dog
which
remains
was-
incredibly still in this bit. I was surprised
Yeah.
at just how still. Just occasionally its eyes move. It opens its eyes and they move.
Which, I mean, I assume that is real scraps because the eyes move.
Yeah.
But if we want to go back to Jim Huxley's effects corner,
No, I think this
Jim
is a
could
real
explain
dog.
how.
The model
Okay.
dog was not good looking model dog.
Yeah, so he sleeps on Scraps, and then Scraps wakes up. Oh wait, hold on. Before that, the thieves go back to the Kyle Rayner, and they are both into the singer, who is not feeling it, and one of them hits her, and it's not a fun moment. But then Scraps, like a good dog, digs up the cash, and the tramp sees it, and he's elated, and he like kisses the dog all over. So they go back. He heads back to find his singer, and so she's getting dressed and wants to leave, and so the tramp goes back in, and he's like, "Yo, I got all this money," and there's a title card that says, "We will." Oh wait, no, hold on. I now realize I don't know who says this line, but there's a line of there's a dialogue card that says, "We will settle it down. We will settle down in the country." That was probably the tramp. When I first watched it, I thought that they were saying, "When he goes down to the country, that's when we'll settle it." But it's ruined because one of the thieves hits him over the head. The bartender comes over. They kind of explain to the bartender what's going on, presumably, and he throws the tramp out. I feel like if I was a bartender and I saw someone hit another customer over the head, I would take the other customer out sooner. So then the tramp sneaks back in. The singer goes with him. The tramp sneaks back in. He crawls through the bartender's legs and goes around. And this is, I think, maybe one of the funniest little scenes. It is the tramp. He sneaks up behind the smaller of the thieves and hits him over the head. And so he gets knocked out. And this guy does a great job of keeping his face perfectly still in a silly expression.
He just has this dead-eyed stare. He looks dead, but he
Yeah.
doesn't move, and he doesn't move at all.
And the tramp slides his arms through his jacket so that he's doing all the things that he would presumably be doing. And like in any movie where someone's pretending to be inconspicuous, he does way more business with his hands, like walking them on the table and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's essentially asking for the money. And they do a whole exchange and like have drinks.
Yeah.
And so there's a great moment where through the guy's jacket, Chaplin takes a drink over his shoulder.
Yeah.
But he gets all the money back, and he sneaks back through the bartender's legs, but then the bartender sees him, so the thieves, they see him, and so they shoot, and then, well, no, I think they actually wait to shoot until they're outside. But yeah, so there's a big chase, and one of them has a gun, and they shoot, and when the bullet hits, it hits the lunch wagon of the chef earlier.
Yeah. That poor guy's
So-
livelihood is ruined. He
So
never does
the
anything wrong.
No, all he does is try and defend his little wagon, and then he hits a cop and presumably like goes on double probation for hitting a cop in the early 1900s. But so the tramp and him are like hiding underneath the cover of the wagon, and then the thieves run in, and they're like all about to get some mess going, and then the cops show up. Luckily, they were probably just looking for a homeless person to arrest.
So Scraps fetches the wallet for them as well, though. Charlie Chaplin
Yes.
drops the wallet and Scraps grabs it.
And so they are arresting the thieves. The tramp escapes. The singer shows the tramp that they got the wallet. And then the title card is When Dreams Come True. We have a shot that is way, way too long of the tramp farming.
I really like that bit, though. The way he straddles, so he's putting stuff in a furrowed field, and he's got one leg on either side of the sort of raised earth, and he straddles it, huddles forward, walks forward, puts some seeds in, then does it again, and it goes for ages.
Yeah,
I mean, it
see-
looks like it's enforcing the monotony of it, as if he doesn't actually enjoy it, but he does. It's a happy ending.
I think it would have been fine if he did that like twice, and then we saw a much quicker version of him walking towards the camera, smiling and waving.
Yeah.
And then he goes inside, and he and the singer are married. They live in the country, so she doesn't get to sing anymore, which is, I guess,
I mean, it
good.
seemed like she hated it, so...
Hated
Too good
singing,
for
yeah.
them. Too good for them. They didn't respect her, even though they all cried.
Yeah. All they wanted to do was dance with her and either say creepy things or do creepy things. And then they look in a cradle, and you're halfway thinking, oh, maybe they have kids. But then, guess what? Scraps has puppies.
And they're real cute.
Mm-hmm. And it's great. All right, so what did we think of the film? I liked it.
I really enjoyed it. I laughed quite a lot.
I thought, good doggo. Good doggos. Some good yolks. Those.
Some good yolks?
Yeah, some good yolks.
Are you taking Spanish?
Ben, how'd you know?
And then
Alright.
I thought that some of the scenes that are not predominantly Chaplin go on a bit.
Yeah.
Some of the scenes
Yes.
in the Green Lantern go on a
Yes.
while.
But I thought overall it was sort of Chaplin is not my favorite silent performer. Everything I've seen from him, I've laughed at a bit. This was, I think, my favorite thing that I've ever seen from him, though.
I can see why he's sort of so immortalized, so remembered.
His facial expressions, I think, are what really sell a lot of this movie. Yeah, but I'd give this movie a positive.
I thought it was okay. I didn't enjoy it as much as the trip to the moon. Not gonna lie.
Well, listen, nobody picks up a Moon King and slams him
Yeah.
down.
But he does
Listen
throw
to
a
it.
dog around.
That's true. We should try and watch as many movies where someone flings around a doll that's meant to be another character as we can. So now I think we should do our recasting of the film. I've got a cast list written down.
Oh, I haven't. Yeah.
I haven't. So let's hear what you've got, Ben.
All right, so for the Tramp, I've got a comedian named Bo Burnham. Don't know if you guys have heard of him.
Is
he's
he athletic though? Can he roll around
Yeah, I
like
don't know
he
if I
needs
could,
to as a
if
Tramp?
Bo Burnham could do the physical comedy like that. He's a
Yeah,
funny
like,
guy.
Most
but-
most comedians aren't as physical these days. I'd go Jackie Chan from 30 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, I'm going with Jim. I think we go with Jackie Chan. For the singer, I have another sort of like recognizable comedian. I have Jenny Slate. The chef, same thing. Got a guy named Rory Scovel. The thieves and the cops, I don't have any actors or actresses for.
What about Scraps?
Oh.
Scraps is if we have a time machine to get Jackie Chan from 30 years ago, I say we stop by the set of Frasier and get
Oh my
Moose, who
God.
played Eddie.
Yes.
The owner of the Green Lantern,
I think
Sir
you
Charles
mean
Dance.
of the Jessica Cruz.
Good work. I was out of my summary, so I wasn't keeping. But thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
Fact-checking
Charles
me.
Dance seems solid.
the bartender. I thought Willem Dafoe. He needs to be someone who's a little terrifying, but can put in a good performance.
Yeah, and is not afraid to ham it up a bit.
Yes, he would. I mean, he would be good as a thief or a cop, because all I wrote down was anyone who could ham it up.
Nicolas Cage.
So maybe like Nicolas Cage as a cop. Yes.
Yeah, he'd have a whole side story.
Yeah, and then like Jeremy Irons as the smaller thief, and who would be a good bigger thief? Who's good? Who's good? Who's
The
good?
guy
John
from the
Goodman.
Green Mile. Oh yeah, John Goodman.
I mean, yeah, if we got a time machine, we can pick any actors we want. Hey, if we got a time machine, maybe for the remake we go and get Charlie Chaplin. That's all that I wanted to say. Do you guys? I thought maybe we could do a thing where every episode one of us poses a question about movies to the others, but I don't have a question.
I haven't got one off the top of my head.
What
All right, Jake, it falls to
sort
you.
of thing did you mean?
Like what is a movie that everybody else hates that you love, or something like that?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Oh right, so not a question related to this. What we've just
No.
said.
Who's an actor
Yeah.
everyone seems to love, but you all hate?
I really think that Jennifer Lawrence is not that good. I don't know if everybody loves her at this point. I feel like now
I
maybe.
feel like the pendulum's swinging and people are sort of slowly realizing she's...
Yeah, but just everything that she's in, she kind of plays. She kind of plays a similar character, even though she gets cast in a very big variety of roles.
Yeah.
She kind of just seems to have like one trick that she uses in every movie, which is having a very plain expression until she's speaking, and then when she's speaking, doing the biggest expression she can.
I don't have a good response to this question. I don't tend to dislike any actors
Always
Like,
the optimist.
continuously.
Jim just watches the movies and thinks, they all seem very nice. Jake, same question to you.
I probably should have thought of an answer. What films have been out recently that contain people I don't like?
We should plan these ahead of time.
We
next
should
time.
do.
Yeah. I'll just edit this out. I'll just edit out the little
Yeah,
pauses.
that's fine.
Oh, then we'll sound really slick.
That's the plan.
I sometimes get annoyed by British actors in American things. I think, and I don't.
Hey, same here.
I maybe,
You're a villain. Don't be a hero.
I don't know if it's because maybe they accentuate their accent, or their accent just sounds more pronounced, alongside a load of American people. Like, have any of you seen the sitcom The Good Place?
Not yet, so please don't spoil
I
it.
have not.
But there's a British woman in that. The character plays a character called Tahani, and her voice just seems a bit too over the top. And so I often find that in films.
I tend to not. I don't like it when British actors do American accents and sound like they were told the first time that they did an American accent that they do a great American accent. Because like when we went and saw Doctor Strange, like his American accent sounded like when every person the whole time I was in England would do an American accent, making fun of me. Like,
we had a good moment when we went to see Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and one of the characters says to the other, I don't know if she's a British actor or not, but I imagine she's not actually from New York. She says, "Would you like a cup of coffee?" And I just looked at Ben. You were just scowling.
yeah, because we don't sound like either children or weird guttural like 5'4" Italian mobsters. Jake, actor you don't like.
I've got one back. The name's escaping me for some reason. Ryan Gosling.
Oh.
What? I love Daddy Goss.
He's a very attractive man, but I just don't know if I like him and stuff that much.
Have you seen the Nice Guys?
I've tried to watch it twice, and it's both been on evenings I've been very tired, and so I've fallen asleep. At some point, I will.
You should watch it in the morning. Have a good morning screening for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all we want to say?
Yeah, I think so. If you're listening next episode, we're going to do the 1920s. So if you have any good suggestions.
And I'm gonna talk like this the entire episode. Welcome to Prohibition.
So no smashing people on the head with beer bottles or fighting for the job at the brewery this time.
Actually, depending on what part of the 20s we do, there might be drinking.
Wait, so are we gonna get audio in this one, or are we not yet up to audio?
Maybe we might. Even if we don't, even if it's talkies, I'm gonna assume everybody's talking like this. All right, that's it for Silver Screen Time Machine. Until next time, I've been Ben.
I've been Jim.
And I've been Jake. Also,
thanks for listening.
Sorry, just right before we end, I'd like to clarify. I realised that during this podcast that I can't be Vin Diesel from Tokyo Drift, because in that picture he's wearing a vest, I believe, and in Tokyo Drift he only wears a white T-shirt. And doesn't wear his cross.
The picture that was used was from the first one, where he's wearing a shirt with the sleeves cut off, despite not being in his best Vin Diesel shape.
That's still a good Fast and Furious film, though. It's got classic moments like starting a fist fight over whether or not people are allowed to like a tuna sandwich.
Okay, it's been a while since I watched that Fast and Furious. I might have to give it a rewatch. All right. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Stop the recording.